Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. So today, for the first time ever, possibly, I have pushed the record button and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. You know, oftentimes I get a lot of people saying, you babble, you say a lot, you're not really, you take forever to get to the point. Well, every single video that I do, there's thought process involved with it, right? I take a subject of what I believe it to be, whether that's an opinion about what is going on, a current event, how I'm preparing around said thing. Like, no matter what it is, I have some sort of thought process. I've taken a sticky at the least, and I've written down some notes. Now, sometimes I don't have notes, but I still know generally what I'm going to talk about. And today I don't really know, And oftentimes when I don't know what to talk about, I'll just go through newsfeed and I'll just go through YouTube and I'll see what YouTube is talking about. And I'll go through the newsfeed on YouTube and I'll go through, online and my various apps and different places that I get news sources. And, I'll just take a look at what's going on and get a pulse. And there's a lot of the same old going on, right? There's a lot of folks talking about predictions as well right now. It's the end of the year, and so people are like, hey, this is what I believe 2023 is going to entail. And a lot of it is, some of it's the gloom and doom, and we're just going to have more of this heartache that is going on around our country with inflation and folks not being able to afford things, the prices of things, shortages of things, not being able to get stuff, and of course, sickness, virus, people are sick, that whole thing. There's a lot of stuff happening that's been happening. And the slow burn, to be honest, baby, is killing your girl, right? The same old, tired, stuff is being discussed because this is the new normal. This crazy world of just the whole discussions with news media back and forth about different things and bantering. It's just exhausting, and it becomes, okay, how do you take yourself out of that, right? How do you continue to move forward with your every day? In my case, I have chores, I have everyday things that have to be done, I have a family to be taken care of, I have you to do a video for and to, share what we're doing with you, and then of course I have, okay, what is to be done for the day? What's the projects we're picking up? What are the things that need to be purchased? What are the things that need to be done? Do the things. We say that all the time. Is just push forward, continue to do the things. And I think it's really important to continue to be easy, right? It's difficult to navigate the things that are happening, but you just take a breath and do the things that maybe have to do with preparedness, but are maybe more enjoyable. You've wanted to get into something. You've wanted to try something. Get the things for that said thing and just move forward and learn something, learn a skill and do that thing. Whether that's you wanted to make a tincture, whether that you wanted to just research something, whether that was you want to go out and get very specific things to fill specific holes. If that's more organization, it kind of goes into, New Year's resolutions. Everybody's like, hey, it's a new year. What are you going to do? Now's the time to kind of take a break, if you will, mentally from this drama, from this circus that's happening around you, and just be calm and move forward and continue to do the things you need to do, but do it in a way where it's more peaceful, okay? And it's more enjoyable, and see where you go from there, because there's a lot going on, as we're reading, more articles and stuff going on with China. And I really, really pay attention to that stuff because that's such a huge piece of our supply and demand, unfortunately. And so I pay attention to what's going on with them. And there's this, whole dialogue with the back and forth of them on lockdown and not lockdown, and they're trying to figure it out. And I came across something that I found interesting is I did not realize that they refused to use the same vaccine that the United States was using. They refused that. They have their own vaccine that obviously took longer, and that's what they're using. I don't know if that's good or bad, because nobody wins in this situation. Yeah, maybe we won the early fight against, hospitalizations, and maybe that initial cut, and glossed over, hey, we won the battle with this pandemic, as far as, cutting down the deaths and cutting down stuff. But we really didn't win, because every single day we're inundated with folks that are passing away from cancers, from blood clots, from different complications that, as we know, are more than likely being caused by, our vaccines. I don't really believe anything that I really get in regards to China numbers of death. They've never been honest about that stuff. You can't say, oh, we're in lockdown because 5 people died, right? And then you see pictures elsewhere of body bags and different things happening, and everybody's suited and booted, right, in full hazmat, over 5 people in your country dying. Like, that is not even, that's not common sense. Like, anybody can figure out that there's something fishy going on, right? And so I just don't trust anything, any of it. But it's important to understand what's going on, even if it's skewed, so that you can prepare your family and you can be ready for things. Because, baby, if you think that was the only time we're going to have to deal with a pandemic or deal with a virus or deal with stuff, it's not. And so I think we are running out of time. I think the year of 2023 is going to be a time where it's really time to buckle down and get the things you need before you can't get them anymore. Me and my hubby were talking the other day about tools, tools. I mentioned it in the video the other day. And so we were discussing it like, oh yeah, we really needed to get this. Oh yeah, we wanted to get that, right? And there's different tools that will make life much easier if you have those handheld tools. And so we were discussing, we've got to get that in the budget, and we've got to start getting some of this stuff knocked out, right? At the end of the day, can we make it? Are we going to survive? Absolutely, because that's a mentality, right? That's a natural grit, ability to adapt. We've got that hands down, right? We are survivors, natural, right? But if you have time to get things that would help you, something happens and we get thrown into a lifestyle all of a sudden, if we're going back to horse and carriages and, there's no power and things like that, there are things that you could get now that would help you make it through those harder times, right? Right now, a lot of the country is having to worry about the threat of blackouts and weather, extreme weather. I'm sitting over here in 10-degree weather. It's beautiful outside right now, by the way. It's super bright. Sun is out, but it's 12 degrees outside, right? And, I'm battling chicken water, problems, and I'm doing these things, and I'm not really complaining that it's cold, but it's cold, right? And you throw that wind chill in there, baby. But I know that there's people around the country right now that are dealing with minus conditions, and that's hardcore, right? And they're out in the elements maybe, and they have to work and continue to do all the things, right? And so I think about everybody like that, or folks that can't afford to just leave the heat on full blast the whole time, right? Or they're getting threatening for their power to be turned off right now. And it's like, how, that's crazy, right? You had the earthquake that just happened yesterday. A lot of people without power, it's cold right now. There's cold fronts, and people say, well, it's California, whatever. It's Northern California. There's cold fronts going through right now. So imagine, I sit here and I'm like, oh, it's 10 degrees. And some people are like, that's nothing. But then I think about that and I have the things, and I think about, man, how cold will this place get, and us living in it, if there all of a sudden was no power, even if it was no power for 12 hours, that's intense. And people die in situations like that. And so it's important to get your list together, to prioritize what you need to do. I think now's the time to clean up stuff, minimize stuff, get rid of stuff you don't need. Josh just had a video where he was talking about living a simpler life, getting rid of the clutter, the extra stuff that he doesn't need, right? Not getting rid of his preparedness stuff, but getting rid of the extra stuff that you don't need. Plus, hey, get some cash money and use it towards something that you do want to buy and that you're waiting to get. Maybe you want a bigger water filter and you just don't have that extra $300 for that, but you have other stuff that maybe you're not utilizing, you've never used in the last year, that you could sell, pawn, whatever, get some cash and get the things you need. Because I think there is a sense of we're running out of time. And I think it's because we're running out of time where, you're battling shortages, you're battling inflation, you're battling that regulations will be coming down the road, you're battling that viruses are happening, pandemics will continue to happen. And you have this thing where you have a government who's going to want to regulate and control us the whole entire time. And that is only going to get worse, right? And as we move forward as Christians, right, to the days of Revelation, it's hardcore not thinking about how bad it could get, and that we are seeing the signs now of different things happening. That's kind of disturbing, right? That's like, whoa, not disturbing the fact a lot of people would be like, it's exciting because that means he's coming back. But there's a lot of hardship that has to happen still. And that's deep, right? And it's like, how do you prepare for that? How do you move forward and try to stay calm and continue to do the things you need to do, knowing that you're running out of time, right? Knowing that we might get to a point where you don't have the luxury of just going and getting a said item, right? You might not be able to just go and order something or go to a store and get something. And then when it happens, it doesn't come back. That thing doesn't come back and you can't get it anymore, right? And unless you're going through and jumping through all these hoops to try to get this thing, right? So use your time wisely. Think about what you still need to do and just get those things done. Execute those things. Do not put off those things like, oh, I have a ton of time to do it. Because I'm not saying the world's going to end in 2 years, but in 2 years, we have no idea how it's going to look in regards to the luxury of being able to get things. How regulated are things, right? How different are things? Is our money still, is the dollar still good in 2 years, right? How is our government looking in 2 years? We don't know a lot of things, and from now to 2 years, the things that will change your life that you could have prepared for right now today, right? It's hard thinking about what those things should be. But I think if you just, for those that, believe in God, pray for discernment, pray for direction. I often do that, right? And just do, I guess, what you find in your heart to do. What are you being pulled to handle, to take care of, to knock out, right? As of late, people who grow food, grow stuff are already starting to get the itch. Even though we're in our homes, it's snowing, it's cold weather, we're already getting that itch to like start seedlings and to start stuff. It's almost like a drug, right? It's like a very exciting time to grow something with your hands, to learn how to do that. And so it becomes, okay, what still needs to be done? We still have a greenhouse to build. We still have several raised garden beds. The whole layout of the entire backyard has to be meticulously laid out so that we can utilize every single piece and corner of the yard for various things that we want to do here. Things that we want to do in the next year, things we want to do in the next 2 years, 3 years, 10 years from now, right? So the layout has to be really, really thought out smartly when you have such a small space to work with, right? So for us, it's a lot of that. I go out and I'm dreaming and I'm designing and I'm writing down on a piece of paper and I'm planning it all out, and there's a lot of measurements being taken and a lot of notes, right, on all the things that we want to do in various stages. But how do we continue to do that without so that it feeds into the entire picture of what we want to do, okay? But don't drag your feet, right? The year of 2023, I think, is going to be very interesting in the fact of none of this other side stuff is going to stop. It's going to continue to ramp up. More things are going to happen. As we get to 2024 and closer to that and the political stuff, it's going to get, I just feel a sense of, not civil war, but that kind of feeling of a lot of divide and a lot of tension and a lot of I think it's going to be a huge turning point. Whichever way that turns, I think it's going to be a huge turning point for our country. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, that's a long time from now, right? Think about today, what you can do today. You know, hug your family. You know, life is short. So many people passing away. And just be kind. Be nice. Do something nice for somebody, right? I don't know. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to drink my coffee. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to get hubby. I don't know what we're going to do for the day. It's really pretty, but it's really cold. So I'm not sure if we're going to go out and tackle some stuff today or not. But whatever it is, do it in love, baby. And I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye.